Hello everyone, how are you doing today? And today is the last day of the GitHub Actions hackathon by DevTo. So I'm really excited to go through a few things with you. Maybe we can have a walk through what a GitHub Action is, and then we'll answer some questions. And then we'll also look at some of the projects that you have all built, and you can then star some of your projects. You can raise pull requests, issues and ideas on those pull requests. So you can get your green squares for today. Any questions, write a Q in the chat, so therefore it stands out and hopefully I don't miss it. Also, if someone asks a question and you know the answer, or you might have a question in back, then do write it in the chat, do get involved. So let's have a look. You know what? By the way, do you like my t-shirt? It's the kind of the Iron Man GitHub t-shirt thingy. I don't know, I got it from GitHub, so thank you GitHub, it's awesome, I love it. Right, so I do have a few GitHub Actions to show you shortly that have been submitted to the hackathon that I'm really looking forward to. Hopefully they win, fingers crossed, we'll get them some stars and some pull requests as well. But if you have any GitHub Actions that you've seen or created, then let me know and we can also have a look at those between all of us. Thank you very much for the donation. I wanted to pronounce your name wrong, I'm really sorry. Adia? Let's bring that up on the screen. Let's say a big thank you. I really appreciate that. So hopefully this will not cover my face this time. So it's good. So yes, an improvement from last time. So thank you very much. Right, let me share my screen. So let me make myself a little bit smaller, which I think is this one. Oh no, wrong one. It's this one. So if I share my screen, let's have a look at some GitHub, what GitHub Action is. Like, who knows what a GitHub Action is? Like, have you used it? Have you heard of it? Maybe I should start all at the beginning, right at the beginning. So let's have a look. So at the beginning, a GitHub Action is like CI. So every time you do a change, usually a push, then it will run. And it can run your linter, your automated tests, and if it's successful on a certain branch, can deploy. The reason why GitHub Actions is so phenomenal is it can tie into so many other events. And I'm going to show you a GitHub Action that we have written in our community that does collect stats from have you replied to a comment on an issue, or reviewed a pull request, or commented on a pull request. Because I think those are contributions as well. Yes, they don't get you the green squares. And for Hacktoberfest coming up next month, in a couple of weeks, it is a lot about the green squares and particularly the pull request. So yes, GitHub Iron Man, love that. Thank you all. Hey Jose, hey Spectre, how you all doing? Tejes is here. Lots of familiar names, so awesome to have you here. Yeah, it is like on steroids. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Let me really show you. If I have missed any questions in the chat, do repost them shortly when I come back and have a look at it. So if we go to our GitHub organization, this is my profile. If you want to drop me a follow, feel free to drop me a follow. If we go to our GitHub organization, if you want to join our organization, we have a support repo where you can raise an issue. Let me share the link in the chat where you can raise an issue and I'll send you an invite so you can join our organization and get involved in the community. As you can see, we have 124 members here at the moment. Right. So yes, one of the GitHub Actions that I wrote, actually we've got a couple here, but let's have a look at one of the simpler ones, which I say simpler, it's all relative really. And what it does, actually even got it in documentation. We have documentation. And I'm sure there is improvements to be made. So if you see any, raise an issue. And if you want, raise a pull request. And if you need help with that, let me know. I'm really keen for you to get the green squares. Right. So as you can see, to use this action, this project contains two. So you can actually group actions together. And what's amazing is one of them is not written, is not custom, and one of them is. So it's actually really interesting. So in this actions, if we include this action in any other project, this action is custom. But however, in this welcome action, kind of like action inception going on here, I didn't write the welcome one. We're using another project. But in the community activity one, I did write that. And we can go have a look. So to use it is really straightforward. So if you see any action in the GitHub Marketplace, which is free to use, they have almost 5,000 actions that you can just use with a few lines of YAML. And by using one, you don't get to enter the hackathon by DevTo, but you need to write a custom one. And it's actually not that scary to write one. All you need is two files. That's not bad. Ignore the two folders. I want to show you the difference one, but I want to show you the statistics one. So you need two files to write a custom GitHub action. One is a YAML file, and that's going to be the kind of configuration for your GitHub action. So the configuration that you need. So it's the name, description, inputs. Inputs when someone's using your GitHub action, what they will send for your action to you. So in this case, it's required, and we need a Firebase key. And we're going to run with node 12, and it's going to run index.js. And if we have a look at index.js, it's not massively scary. You can just do a console log. You can keep it simple. But what we've done here is we're getting the input Firebase key, and we're connecting to Firebase. And then what we're doing is, for the type of event that's happened, have you raised an issue? Have you commented on an issue? I'm collecting the community statistics, just an incremental number, not what the issue was or anything like that, but just some statistics. Because then on our front end, which we haven't done yet, we want to just kind of give out badges, people who have commented the most, maybe people who have raised lots of issues. So we're going to have some fun around that. And we write that to Firebase. And that's it. And in the other, if I go to the other, the welcome one, have a look. Oh, actually I did. I actually wrote this, I forgot. So I took the inspiration from one that was already written. And what we've done, if I go again to the configuration of it, we need a GitHub token. So whoever's using this action, we can have permission to their repo. And then we have asked for an issue message and a PR message. And then if I go to the actual JavaScript code, I get the inputs, I grab those inputs that I need, and then we create if someone's created an issue, on that same issue, we put a reply, and then if they've raised a pull request, we put a reply as well, welcoming them to the project. So it's not that scary, and you can do anything. So we've got something that's right into the database, we've got something that is replying back to the issue or pull request. And you could do a check, like is it their first issue or their first pull request? But I'm not. I'm just always replying. I think it's quite useful. Spectra, thank you very much for the donation. Awesome. Really appreciate that. Any questions, everyone? Don't forget to leave a comment in the chat, and we append it with a Q. Right. What else have we got? Let me see. I was waiting for my screen to update. Joshua, thank you very much. That's awesome. Brilliant. Let's bring that up on the screen. I love getting positive feedback. That's great. Oh, we've got a question coming from Jose. I'll ask that in a second. I'll read that in a second. Hopefully it's all making sense to you, and we are going to not review, that's a bit harsh. I don't think I'm in the position to review, but I'll give some feedback and give a shout out to some of these awesome actions that have been written by the community. And you can then raise some issues. We'll raise some issues and pull requests. And by we, I mean me and all of you, because I want you to get your green squares. Awesome swag, thank you. Okay, I'm trying to bring up the, I got a donation, so thank you very much, Spectra. I'm trying to bring it up on the screen, and I can't see it in the list. So apologies, I don't know why I can't see that. Don't know why. But we do have a question. But Spectra, thank you so much. Sorry I can't bring that up on the screen. It is not showing up on my options to bring it up. I will try again in a second. Maybe it's a moment to refresh. The question that we have is, Mohammed, great to see you here as well. I know you're got a lot of work on at the moment and a big commute, so hope everything's going well with work. If that action is used on another repo that is not our own community, does it create the collection on their Firebase DB? That is a really good question, actually, and it would, because they would need to pass in. So let's actually go back to it. Let me share my screen and let me go back to that code. That's a great question. We can probably make it more configurable and customizable. So people have ideas, then they can do that. And we are probably going to move that to a different database as well. But on the input, on the configuration, we ask them to pass in the Firebase key, and that will know where to write to. So if we go to the code, that's where it knows where to write to. The database has all the credentials and access to that database. So yes, it will write to theirs, not ours. So no one can write to ours, only in our organization, because our organization has that key as a secret and that's accessible. But great question. Okay, so does GitHub Actions make sense to everyone? So you can if you're doing something over and over again in CI, in any CI, but let's talk about GitHub Actions, but it can be anywhere, then if you write a custom GitHub action, you could wrap those steps and then you could use them in any of your repos. And if you make them generic enough, then anyone else could use them as well. So if we go to the GitHub Action Marketplace, you will see there's almost 5,000 plugins that you could use. If I even filter by actions, wow, look at this. So last time I checked was like 2 weeks ago, and it's already gone up by about 500 actions. So that's really, really awesome. So if you do write an action and you make it generic enough for other people to use, then I recommend adding it to the marketplace so other people can use it. So that is really, really awesome. I wonder if we've got any recently added ones. No, we haven't. We can't filter by recently added. Yes, there is. I was looking for newly added. Apparently none are recently added. I don't believe that. I added one like a couple of weeks ago. But yes, it's really, really interesting. It is so cool. Shall we have a look? What do you think? Shall we have a look at some of your actions and see what issues and pull requests we can create? Praveen, awesome to have you here. Alan as well. Sorry if I've missed anyone with the shout outs. It's all awesome to have you here. I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps support the channel. So, GitHub Actions make sense to you all? What GitHub Actions would you write? So, is there something that you do often that could be wrapped, could be put into a GitHub action? Or do you do something that, or do you have your CI do something that's multiple steps where you could wrap it and therefore you could use it in multiple projects really easily? And then I do have, so we do have three projects, 3 GitHub actions I want to take you through, and let me know if you have any projects that GitHub action projects that you want to look at as well. So the hackathon finishes, I think, at midnight tonight, US time. I don't know which time zone. I want to say PST, but I'm not sure. Do double check that on DevTo's blog post. And they have some really good prizes. It's great. So it's really good. So do get involved. Yes, and you can do things like notifications. Like, do you tell people when you've deployed something? Do you tell people that, oh, I've deployed it? Well, on the GitHub Actions, if you have a look, let me bring up events. Look at how many. I've got a blog post coming out with explaining all this, but it should come out in the next few days. If I make this bigger, look at all the events that you can trigger an action on. There are so many. So you got the wiki, you got forks. So if someone forks your project, you can get it to send you an email notification. Issues, and even within these sections, so if I go to issues, even within each of these sections, you also have, hope that's big enough for everyone to read, you also have, was it open, was it edited, was it deleted, transferred? Like, I'm not going to read all of them out, but you get the idea that you've got so many different custom things, and because you know what event it was, you could say if someone opens an issue, do a reply, like we've got in our community. If someone edits an issue or deletes an issue, you could do a different sort of reply or notify someone else. Maybe you want to give them a hand or help or something like that. So there were just so many events that you can do. It is really, really awesome. And what events would you use it for? Milestones, project board, project card. There's just so many. GitHub is really just making an amazing platform for us to build. Send notifications to Slack, to Discord, etc. and so on. Right, let me move this tab over because I'm sure we need to come back to it. Let's have a look at some of these projects. What do you think? So who have we got first? This is a game, I think. Let's have a look. This is a game. So you can even write games. People have written games over GitHub Actions. That really shows you how powerful something is if someone can easily not only do the utilities that we want to use on a daily basis for our open source projects, but also you can do like kind of silly, crazy things, which is really interesting. So here's a game that was built, and it's in the README, and you can navigate around. And the way it does it is it raises an issue and then the GitHub action. So turn-based games would work really well with this. So let me move to the right. So my understanding about this game is the purple blocks are the solid, as in you can't move towards them, but I could move right. So if I hit right, it's going to create an issue. I hit submit. The action's going to run, and you've got this actions tab at the top. So you can see it running now. And it usually takes about 20 seconds to run. And then when we go back to the README, it would have changed. It would have moved our character across. So you could do things like Sudoku, any turn-based game, and noughts and crosses. Oh, noughts and crosses. Maybe we should do a live stream when we create noughts and crosses. Noughts and crosses. Connect 4. Just loads of those games. You couldn't do rock, paper, scissors because that's more real time. You need to kind of, challenge someone. But turn-based games work really well. So that's now finished. So if I go back to the README, you can see it's now moved across a square onto this one. And then I guess I can move up. Let me move up and do that. There are so many things that you can do with this. That's why it's just so interesting. What ideas do you have? Let me know in the chat. And you probably have already, and I probably missed them. Yeah. Oh, yes, it's your game. Let me bring up your name. So thank you very much. Darshan, thank you. This is really interesting. So thank you very much for this game. It's very, very awesome. So it should be finished. Finishing in a second now. It just finished. So if I go back to the README, hopefully the overlay isn't... there we go. So the character has moved up. The Octocat has moved up. Let me share a link to this in the chat, and you can have a look how it's been done. And we can have a quick look together. But the project's got 5 stars. Let's make it 10. Come on, everyone, give it some stars. And if you want to make some changes, let's see what we can change. So let's have a look. So one thing I always look at, what improvements we can make, is community, right? Because it's an open source project. So I click on Insights. And then I go to community and I see what GitHub suggests. So a contributing file could be created, issue template, and pull request template. So if you want to get green squares for today, why don't you all, not all, some of you, raise some issues to do this. And then if you want, you can also raise some pull requests to do this. Get practicing for Hacktoberfest. That's coming only 2 weeks away, so you can get t-shirts and stickers and lots of swag from them. I actually still have a Hacktoberfest package from last year that I haven't opened. I've actually got a big GitHub box I still need to open, do an unboxing. So raise those issues. You get the green squares for raising those issues. So let's go back to the code. Let's have a look. So it's got a README, which is awesome, and you can just play within the README as we saw. It's got instructions. I personally would put instructions in the README itself, at least for the kind of the high level ones. And then if we look at the code, so if we go into game, let's have a look and see. So I guess this is the game state. Yeah, so game 1, and you've got moves and state. Okay, so it's going to be in the .github folder. You've got actions. Okay, this is where the game is. So if you wanted to use this on your README, you could. And this is the input that you would need. Actually, that's an issue you can all raise. Not all, one of you or 2 of you could raise is how to use this in your README. It would be great if there was some documentation on the README. I don't think I saw it, in how I could use this. So I could, looking at this action.yaml, I can see that this is, and I could use it as well by knowing these are the inputs that I need to pass it. But it'd be nice if there was a block of YAML example that I can copy and paste into my project so I could use it as well. And if we look at the code, I'm guessing there's quite a bit of code in here as well. Yeah, okay, so there is quite a bit of code. I'm not going to go through all this. It does look good. And this is the game. Okay, so you've got some functions and a class. Wow, there's quite a lot of code for this. But if you wanted to use this in your README, you wouldn't need to worry about that code. It's taken for you. It's wrapped in an action. So it's great. So I can see the stars have gone up to 8. Thank you all very much for supporting other people in the community. I think that's awesome. So what games would you make? Let me know in the chat what you would build. Yeah, people saying in the chat, writing a game is awesome. Yeah, I think it's I just think it's so cool to write a game. Multiplayer game could be quite good, right? Connect 4, multiplayer. Yeah, so you could do it so that you couldn't have another go even if you created, say, an issue and it was the same user and it wasn't your turn. The action could just ignore that user. It would have to be a different user to play like the noughts and crosses with. Oh, so many awesome ideas, and I'm sure you've got loads too. Praveen says we've made it to 10. Let's have a look. Awesome, we've made it to 10. Okay, let's have a look at some other projects as well. But this is an awesome one. Well, I'm sure we'll come back to it. So what have we got next? Whose action is this? Write hello in the chat, and if it's your action. So what does this action do? I think this action is part of a project, by the looks of it, I think. Let's have a look. So it's Flutter, Dart. I'm sure you're all excited about that sort of stuff. When someone mentions Flutter, everyone gets very excited. It's something I still need to look into myself. But we can see that this is triggering on the master branch. And then there's one job, so like one step, which is the build step. And sorry, one job, which is the build job. And there's multiple steps underneath. It's going to run on Ubuntu. And the steps are, so we're going to check out the code, makes sense. We're going to set up Java with version 12 point whatever. I think that's kind of standard, and you can do that for a lot of projects. It's really nice that you've got these pre-built actions where you can just have things set up for you already. It's just so powerful. I mean, this looks really good, and there's even comments in. I think that's great. I think that's really good. I'm not going to go through every line. I'm not a Flutter expert at all, but it does look very similar to things you can do in other languages and other CI, and I think it's great. People could use this as an example. I wonder if you could package this up into a custom action so people could maybe pass you the channel, people could pass you the Flutter version, and then this will run for their projects as well. That could be quite an interesting thing to do. It wouldn't be too hard for you to abstract this out. That could be quite an interesting step to do because other people could use this. And again, that's why I love GitHub Actions, because you can wrap actions with other actions. So you end up with all these building blocks, and then rather than, you can then put in the building blocks that you want, or you can create the workflows quite easily. But let's give it, it's not a game, but let's give this project a stars as well. Let's show it some love. And what else can we do? Let's have a look. Again, we go to the community tab. We can have a look. Hasn't got a description. You can't change the description as a contributor because that's within the settings of the repo. But there could be contributing file. That's contributing in capitals.md in the root of the project. And then there's issue template and pull request. So I would suggest raising issues for those so they don't get forgotten. I mean, I can do one as an example. I will do the description one. I'll let you all do the other ones. Click new, raise an issue. Let's have a look. Add description to the project repo. And it should be done in settings. This should be available in the repo settings. I just got another green square for today. You should get your green squares for today. And get the practice in now, so when Hacktoberfest comes up in like 2 weeks, you're getting in that flow and you're able to do some really awesome, really awesome contributions. Okay. Adia, it's yours. Brilliant. Okay, let me bring that up. Bring your name up so people can see it. I'm on the wrong page. That's why I don't think I'm seeing stuff. Let's have a look. There we go. Bring you up on the screen as well. Thank you very much. Awesome. So we have got some more to look at. What other actions have you used, come across, thought of? Let me know in the chat, and we can go take a look at those as well. And we'll see how we do on time. I don't think we'll get time to build something today together, but we could build something maybe next weekend. We'll build an action together. So think of ideas, and if you've got any ideas, let me tell you where you can record them. So if you go to our community organization, and if you want an invitation, by the way, go to the support issues, and if you go to new, you'll see invite me to the organization. Just click new, just click get started, and we'll send you an invite to our organization so you can geek out with us. But I wanted to show you in the support repo, we also have beta access to discussions, which hasn't been released yet on GitHub. We've got access to it. So if you do have any projects, you can then create a new discussion with a show and tell topic, and the community can give you feedback and give you some suggestions. And by raising or by starting a discussion, you do get a green square for today. So definitely raise it. But we have ideas, we have help. If you have any ideas, then just raise an idea topic and say, my GitHub action would like to do, I don't know, Connect 4, or I don't know, order Domino's Pizza when I get to 2,000 contributions or something. I don't know. I'm sure you've got lots of ideas, and I'm really interested to see what your ideas are. Not too crazy though, right? and maybe we'll build some of ours. So yeah, do have a look at that. I think I shared a link. I did. Can you drop my repo description for better reaction? I can drop your repo link. Is that what you mean? Yes. Sorry, let me drop a link. I forgot to do that. Good point. Thank you for reminding me. Apologies for that. I forgot. So do give this repo also a star. Show support in the community. It doesn't cost you anything, but it gives the other person so much more motivation to work on their project. When I get positive feedback via a DM in Discord or I don't know, a tweet or something, I really appreciate it. It means so much, and it gives me the energy to do more live streams, more videos, and help the community more. So yes, if you want to take a screenshot of whatever we're working on now and tweet it and tag me on Twitter, I will give that a retweet to also give you some attention back as well, so you can build up your Twitter following and so forth. So do that. I shouldn't say do. Oh, I've noticed we've got a red one here. So the latest commit broke. Should have a quick look. So we'll see if we can debug it quickly. Path does not exist. Oh, so who wants to get a green square? Who wants to raise an issue for that? Or shall I do it? If you want to raise an issue for this, write open source in the chat, and you can raise it. Otherwise, I will raise it before we move on to the next GitHub action. I can't remember what it is. Let me have a look. It's this one, PDF Viewer in Flutter. Another Flutter one. Wow, Flutter's getting quite popular. And while you're thinking about that, who wants to raise that issue, get the green square for today, just to say I've got some awesome collaboration live streams coming up on Nux.js, on Svelte. Can't pronounce that. Svelte.js. So awesome live streams coming up for the next couple of weeks. So do subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notified when I create those events, and they will be coming up over the next couple of weeks. Hey Ben, I'm going to raise this. No one else has raised it, so let me raise it. No one wants to do it. There's no other no other issues raised for the other ideas that we talked about. GitHub Action error, and if I put a link to that as well, therefore you can find it quite easily. Submit. Oh, you said open source, and I just created it. Don't worry, there was more. So in Insights, in the community tab, I did the description one. Tijer's one. Have I missed lots of comments? Apologies if I have. So we've got a few. So someone can raise an issue for the contributing file, and someone can raise an issue for the issue template, and someone can raise an issue for the pull request template. And then if there's more people with more energy, raise the pull request for these. And don't worry about getting it absolutely perfect. Say, for example, you want to do an issue template. Don't worry about writing 10 lines of message, please include your browser. Is it a bug? Is it not a bug? Just write one line. And you may think, well, the project maintainer is not going to be happy with one line. The project maintainer has got no lines at the moment, 0. So even if you write one line in an issue template or pull request template, it is better and adds more value than they have now. So even on any of my projects or our community projects, if you've got an idea to make an improvement and we're missing something or haven't done something, or there's a section missing in the documentation and you can think of the title and one line to write, please add that title and one line. Because if there is no section, then there is no value to the community. So definitely do that. And then you can iterate on it and add more lines as you think of them, and other people can get involved too. David, or Jose, I don't know which one to call you, I forget. But awesome, thanks for visiting from Portugal. Have a great day, and we'll catch up soon. Thanks for joining. So, right, have those issues been raised? Let's have a look. Still no issues. Do you need a link to the repo again? Here we go. Let me share a link. There we go. Okay, let's look at the next. I'm looking at the clock. We've been going for like 30 minutes. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the other. What other projects we need to look at? Actions, right? So we've got a PDF viewer in Flutter. I haven't looked at this yet, so we'll look at this together. Okay. I would suggest, by the way, putting a profile picture on your GitHub account. It makes it look so much more professional. And then when people want to approach you to offer you projects, jobs, collaborations, etc., again, it just looks really more professional. So I highly recommend doing that. Okay, so Flutter Pdf Viewer. Let's go have a look at the action. If I haven't missed too much in the chat. Let me go back, just bring it onto this page. I think we've got 1 or 2 more stars on this, so that's awesome. Dart.yaml. Link for the repo. For this repo, the PDF viewer or the previous one, it's just 2 messages up. Okay, so let's have a look. Again, this is a push on master, but you could add more if you wanted. You could do a push on different branches, on issue creation, and the job is build. And it's using Java 2. And it installs the dependencies and runs a test. So that's just a standard kind of what you'd run on CI, which I think is really good. It's a great place to start, and you'll see how fast GitHub Actions is. It is just so quick because it doesn't have to go out to another service like Travis CI or Circle CI and wait for the webhook notification or however it's integrating and doing. It just starts so quickly, and GitHub Actions is just so fast. It's really, really impressive. So let's give this project some, this project has no stars, so let's give it some open source love as well. And I'll share the link to this one here. And let's have a look, see how we can contribute as well. So if we go to Insight, you can do this on any repo. Community, it needs a description, it needs a code of conduct, it needs a license, it needs loads of things. So you could raise an issue for each one of these things. Shall I do the description one again? You know what? I'll let all of you do it. I want you to get the green squares, get some practice for Hacktoberfest. I want you to get awesome t-shirts and stickers and swag next month. So this is just practice. We'll just warm up for it. If you want to practice the workflow on another project in our community organization, we do have Hacktoberfest practice. It will be archived during the month of Hacktoberfest because that shouldn't count towards your 4 pull requests that you need to create for Hacktoberfest. But you can just add your name to the list in alphabetical order just to practice that forking, making a pull request, and so on. And if you want to join our community, don't forget to raise an issue on the support repo. Just say, can I join the community? And I'll send you an invite. Right. So yes, lots of some more donations. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I don't know why I can't bring them up on the screen anymore. Yeah, that one came through on the screen. So sorry, Spectre. I don't know why I can't bring yours up on the screen. So Akash, hopefully I pronounced that right. Did you manage to get the link so you can raise the issues? Let's have a look. Hey, it's got 1 star, so brilliant, and no issues. So someone needs to raise some issues on these topics. Don't forget, you'll get a green square for raising the issue. What else I want to show you? So GitHub Action. So the hackathon is ending today. So you've probably got, because of time zones and so on, you've probably still got like 12 hours to get an action done. What questions on actions can I help you with to help you understand what a GitHub Action does, what you can do with it, and how you can get started? Remember, it's really straightforward. You just need 2 files. You need a YAML file with the inputs and configuration, and then you can have a JavaScript file that you can do anything that you can do in JavaScript, which is quite a lot. So let me know. Shubham, great question. What kind of a PR is valid for Hacktoberfest? They are getting more stricter, so just adding your name to a repo for practice won't count apparently in the month of Hacktoberfest, which is why I'll archive that practice repo during that month so people can't try and cheat the system. It's about adding value. I think when they look at it and review the pull requests, it will be about, did you add value? So it's not about the size of the pull request. I don't think there's going to be a minimum. And this is my opinion. If I was the one reviewing the pull request, I wouldn't do it on size of the pull request, because the bigger the pull request, the less likely it's going to get merged, the more time it takes to review it, and the more issues there'll probably be with it. So my suggestion is, do keep it small and concise and just think about adding value. You're all welcome to contribute to our projects. We've got a whole load of projects. We've got 10 repositories, GitHub Actions, Discord bots to Node backend, and we've got some front end. We've got a couple of front end. We have this map project that I want to pick up next month. Where is it? Where when you're in the live stream and you run the command in our Discord, it puts you on the map so people can see where you are, and it zooms to where you are on the map. So I want to pick this back up And so if anyone wants to help me with that, it'd be great to pair with you on that. And I want to probably rewrite it and make it a bit simpler. I don't think we need the events down the right and things like that. So let's have a look. Mikey, I was distracted. I started watching and then had to leave. No worries. If you have to leave, that's fine. Just leave us running on mute, turn the volume down, but you can help my stats. So I really appreciate that. Everyone watching, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell so you can get notified. We've got some awesome live streams and videos coming up, and it really helps support the channel. It's free for you, and it really helps support the channel. So that's great. Let me catch up with some of the chat. I've been really bad with the chat. Late to the party. How can I participate in this hackathon? Noel, awesome to have you here. The hackathon is finishing tonight. Let me bring it up. Let's bring it up so we can all have a look together. So it is GitHub Actions. I can't spell GitHub. GitHub Actions Hackathon DevTo. I spelled hackathon wrong, but hopefully Google will figure it out. So yes, so it's running to September the 17th, which is today. And if I remember correctly, I did see it's running to midnight. There was another post they did recently about this. Let me see. I think it was under Jess. Don't forget to clear cache. No, she did it very, very recently. Here we go. I think this is a more recent one. Yes, so it finishes midnight PST. So there's still time to do this. That's the advantage, I suppose, of the US being, I'm in the UK, so being behind us time zone wise, you get a bit more time to do that. And yes, you just need to do a GitHub action. I say just, it sounds scary. So for the new people that have joined, let me show what a GitHub action looks like. I had one open somewhere here. I do somewhere. Okay, we'll go to our community repo. Not this one. Let's go have a look at our community action. Or I can show you a different action this time. I could show you the HTML table generator, and we can skip over a lot of the JavaScript code. So what you need is 2 files to create an action. Just 2. One is an action.yaml. And in here, this looks big and scary, but if you notice, these are all under inputs. So you might only have 1 input or no input, etc. So the important part is the name, what you're going to call it, description. And if you're going to put it in the marketplace, you need branding, so the icon and the color. But if you're not going to put it in the marketplace, you don't need that. And you can always add that later, so it's not a problem. And the other important side is runs. So what you're going to use, the environment in this case is going to be node 12, and what file is it looking for to run. The bit I skipped is the inputs. These are the inputs that come in from the projects that's using the action. So whichever project, and I'll show you that in a second, is using this action, it can specify how many columns. So for the HTML table, to go from JSON to HTML table, how many columns? It defaults to 2, but I think on the other project I specify 3 or 4. And the great thing is we can change that whenever we want, and we never have to rewrite the HTML. The action will rewrite it for us. It will just take the JSON and just recreate the HTML from it. And again, some other inputs. But I'm not going to go too much into that, because each action will be different. So the other file that you need to look at is, in this case, is an index.json file. And I'm not going to go into too much of detail because it's just writing the HTML. But the start of it is we grab the GitHub token, because I need a token to rewrite the HTML in their project. And I grab some other inputs that I spoke about, columns, and it will give me the default from the YAML file if they don't specify it. And then I take the JSON, I loop over it, and I create the HTML. Let me show you what that looks like. So if I go to our awesome GitHub profiles, which is where you can put your profile on there if it's awesome. And when we use the action, I'll show you how we use it. Hopefully my big head's not covering up too much code. Let me know if it is. And this is how you would use it. I am covering it up, aren't I? I've just noticed that. Let me shuffle over to the side. I might need to move myself over. There we go. Over to the side slightly. This is how you would use it. So on push, on every push, I want to run this action. I've called it, the job is called table. You can name it whatever you want. I want to run it on Ubuntu. I've given it a name. And the steps I'm going to run is check out the code. And then I'm going to, this is me calling in the other action from the other project. So that's actually out of date. I transferred that to our community. There's another bug. This is why I love working with you all, because we find so many issues and so many improvements. Who wants the green square? Can someone raise me an issue, please, and say, update this line? Because that should say Eddie Jowd community, because it's under our community organization now. I moved it from mine. And in fact, that name is also wrong. It's interesting. GitHub must be doing a redirect because that's what it was, where it was, and what it was named before. So that's really interesting. So thank you very much, GitHub. But we need to fix that. So please, someone raise an issue. Just write open source in the chat if you're going to raise it and raise it. And if multiple people raise it, don't worry. You all still get the green square for today. I'll just pick the one with the best description, not the one who's first, the one with the best description. I see some messages coming in the chat. I'll check those out in a second. And then the with is what gets passed into the GitHub action from on the other project. In this case, I'm passing in the JSON file. I think it defaulted to data.json anyway, but it's I've specified it too, just in case the default changes. The GitHub token, so they can have the action can have access to my repo. And yes, I told you I did change the default columns was 2, and I thought I specified it to 3. If we change it to 4, then it will just rewrite the HTML table from the JSON. So that is really, really cool. And yeah, these are some of the fields that I spoke about. Each action is different. Right, so Nawal, open source. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Yes, please raise an issue. Do that. So just raise an issue. Let me give you a link to the repo so you don't have to guess it. Oh, I broke it. There we go. If you raise an issue on that project, and while you're doing that, I'm going to catch up with the chat. It's awesome to have the chat coming in. Raise an issue saying that I need to update the action to have the correct, I don't know, new path, new URL. We'll know what it means. Maybe add a link to this file. I think I sent you the link to the file instead of to the repo, but you'll find it, and we'll do that. All right, let me catch up with the chat. What have we got? Review my workflow. I've shared the link above. I didn't get I don't know if I can pronounce your name, Prathmesh. I didn't get the link. YouTube will remove the link. So what you need to do is actually go to our support repo. You're going to love this. Go to our support repo, and we've got access to a beta feature on GitHub called discussions. And if you can start a new discussion, you get a green square like you do with the issues that you raise. And if you can do show and tell, and we can have a look at it. Let me paste it in here for you. Start a discussion. Let me know when you've done that, and I'll come back here and check it out, and we can have a look. And then the great thing about that, other people can give you feedback and suggestions and ideas. So let me pick one that's been quite busy. It looks like an issue, the discussions, but it's on steroids because you can have multiple people reply, but then you can have threaded. So you can then reply underneath, and the person who raised it then can accept an answer. So you can see what's answered and what's not answered. And you have the different categories, like I said. You could raise a show and tell, a thank you, ideas, help. And it's just awesome. We use this in our Discord. So we might start the conversation on Discord, but we usually bring it over here because it can help other people in the community. And it keeps your GitHub profile really active, which is awesome. Anik, I can't pronounce your name, sorry. Love your community, Eddie. Create a PR in your awesome GitHub profile. Let's bring that up. Love that. Cool, let me bring that up on the screen. Thank you very much. I'm going to try and pronounce your name. Let me know how badly I do. And Aniket? Hopefully I pronounced it right. Really sorry if I haven't. You'll have to let me know in Discord how to pronounce that. Sharistika, awesome to have you here. Great to have you here. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing well. Sharistika is another DevRel who does lots of awesome content on YouTube and live streams. Do go check her out. The discuss features look impressive. Yeah, they are really, really good. If you just want to practice, just go raise a practice. I didn't put it up on the screen. Oh, there you go. That's bring it up now. But if you just want to practice using discussions, just go make a practice discussion. You know, it's fine. Just talk about something you've worked on recently or something that you've learned. Just share something that you've learned. So there is show and tell. There is ideas. There's thanks. I don't know what TIL stands for. I can't remember. I did look that up, but I forgot. But yeah, just share something you've learned recently. And it's just good kind of practice, like a mini blog or something. Just start the discussion and let's get some feedback. Right, how are we doing on time? Did that issue get raised? Let's have a look. So should we go back to that? Was it on this one, Hacktoberfest practice? No, it wasn't that one. It was on awesome GitHub profiles. Issue in GitHub Actions. Perfect. Replace Eddie Jowd with Eddie Jowd community. Awesome. Actually, this is actually a really good example, I think, on Nawal, you didn't raise an issue. Raise an issue as well. But I think it's a good example of how you can add more information. If you want your pull request or issue to get more eyes, to get more interest, then this is actually a really good example of how to do it. So if you don't mind, bear with me, humor me. I actually want to just write another issue underneath in the comment, but on the same topic, and show you how you can grab the attention of the community a lot more when raising things. So I really appreciate you raising this issue, because it will help me remember to do it, to fix it. If someone wants to raise a pull request on this, they can. If you want me to help you, that's a really good pull request you could do for Hacktoberfest. I know that's in a couple of weeks, but it's that would be a really valuable pull request, and I think that would be part of Hacktoberfest. So good practice to do that for now. Nawal, if it's for the defect, for the bug, I would raise an issue. If it's to do you want to do a show and tell on your project, you want to have get some feedback on one of your open source projects, or you want some help, then raise a discussion. I think that's how we differentiate between the two. So an issue is more like a bug or a feature or an action that code's going to be linked to it, whereas discussion is more of a kind of like a forum conversation. But we can always transfer it. Don't worry. I always advise people, it's GitHub, it's open source, nothing can go wrong. If in doubt, raise it and we can move it later. So that's what you got. Transfer issue. We can always copy and paste it out. There's lots of things that we can do. But I just want to show people, I'm actually going to do a video series on how to kind of get noticed more on GitHub. And it's not just about the activity, it's actually also about how you write things. So I really appreciate this issue. I'm sorry to take you as an example. I hope this is okay. But the way I would have written it is, let me find the repo. And Mohammed, if you're still there in the live stream, Mohammed does awesome issues. They always grab my attention. It's great. You want enough information in it, but you don't want too much that it's like, an essay. And Mohammed does this really, really well. So let me show you as an example. So this was where the issue was, right? So this was incorrect. So this part was incorrect. So what I would have done, again, sorry to take you as an example, and I appreciate you raising the issue. I would have said something like this. The GitHub action has moved, and the usage is out of date, or something to that effect, right? I'm not too worried about the words, but it's just the formatting. And then I would put an example. I would go YAML, and I would put that in there. And you could even do something fancier, right? You could do minus like that, and then you could do plus. And if you change this to diff, hopefully I'm not blocking that with my big head, then you could do something like this. And this would be Eddie Jowd community. I'm going to show you what it looks like afterwards as well, so you can see it rendered. I can't spell community. I'm having some serious trouble today. And what is the name of the project? It's called this one now as well. So if I just grab that, and then I can put it here, right? And so I've got a diff, and let me just quickly show you what it looks like. That looks like that. So it just really highlights and stands out that there's something wrong. And that would also include a link to the file as well. So I'll include a link to it. And you can click on, I don't know if you know this, but you can actually click on the numbers on the side, and it automatically puts it in the URL, so you can grab that and you can kind of grab a link. So I've only spent a few more seconds on that, but again, if I just show you the preview, that stands out a lot more already. It just makes it a bit more, I suppose, noticeable, and people will more likely to comment and get involved and so forth. But I'm just going to comment with that as well. But you can go even further. You can take screenshots, you could do more. Just keep in mind, it's not an essay, but it's about just kind of making it stand out a little bit more and have a bit more of the information. Okay, right, what have I missed in the chat? Added my action link to the support discussion. Let's go have a look. Awesome. So if I refresh this, please review my GitHub action for the hackathon. Ah, you made it in general. Show and tell would have been good. No problem. I don't know if we can change that. Let's have a look. Can I change it? I don't think I can. Edit. No. Oh, I can. Edit. Show and tell. There we go. See? It's not a big deal. See, and I would also, thank you very much for raising this. It's great. I look forward to having a look at your action. But I would probably also add a bit more to the description. So if we open this and have a look, It's on the marketplace as well. Really nice. Awesome. You rock, a personalized contributor appreciator. Oh, I like that. So I wonder if you have a screenshot, lots of animated GIFs, which is great. But if you were raising a discussion, we'll have a look more in details in a second. I would probably put something in the discussion, right? So other people in the community are going to see this. I might see this in the list. If I go back one, oops. Right, they see this in the list. And they go, okay, I'll have a look at that. And they click on this and they see that. And they might not comment. So you want to get people to look at this. You want to get those stars. You want to get people contributing. You got to get people excited for it. So, let me have a look in the chat. So people are writing. Oops, don't worry about it. It's okay. I just learned something new. So I really appreciate you making that mistake and raising it as general, because I learned something new that I can actually change it, because there are some other ones I want to change. But this being in beta from GitHub, I don't think that feature was available a couple of weeks ago when I looked at it. So you taught me something new. So thank you very much. This is why I love collaborating with you all. Would it be better if we went straight away, go for a PR instead of an issue, which involves a small change? That's a really good question. I'll be interested to hear other people's thoughts as well. So do let me know in the chat what you all think as well. So let me bring this up. Yes and no. If by raising an issue first, you can then tie your commit to that issue number. So in your commit message, you can do that. So it just seems a bit more professional. Also, by raising an issue, you get an extra green square for today. So you get that extra activity. So I would, because also when your pull request gets merged and the issue gets closed, someone might reference that issue in the future or add more conversation to it, whereas they wouldn't add conversation to a pull request once it's been closed. So I think it's good to raise the issue. I highly recommend doing it. I don't always, I'm a bit lazy when it comes to that, but I'm trying to get better. So if you notice me not do that, then raise an issue for me, send me a nudge and link it to my pull request. I will definitely have it so in your pull request, it has at the top closes hash the number of the issue, and then it will link back to the issue and you can see it in the timeline. So thank you for that. That's a really good question. Should I change the name for the GitHub Actions in the awesome? Yeah, if you that'd be awesome. If you want to make that change, if you actually want to do this, then yeah, please raise a pull request, make that change. That'd be awesome, and we can test it out live with everybody and see how it goes. So definitely do that. If in doubt, always raise an issue, raise a pull request. The worst thing that's going to happen is someone's going to say no, thank you, and close it. But yeah, please go ahead. That'd be awesome. Right. So we were looking at this action. You rock. So what does it do? It sends out a personalized email appreciating the contributor with some badges and image process personalized material. Awesome. This action will help maintainers to improve outreach for public relations. Just open an issue on urock repo, you receive personalized email. Should we test it out? So have a look. If I open an issue here, let me see. Please, can I get a badge? I don't think that's going to work in the title. And that didn't work. That's fine. Do I get a badge? Let's see. Okay, let's go back to the repo. How to test. Awesome. How to use in your repo. Clone the repository. Copy the repo into your repository. Okay, you got good documentation. That's really good. And you can change the triggers. I like that. Drop a star if you like it. Really awesome. So why do I need to copy it though? If it was a GitHub action, should I just use it? Do you have action.yaml? Why can't I just yeah, why can't I try and just use your action? If it's in the marketplace, then let's have a look. Pre-release. Let's see. How to use. Clone the repository and copy the content. I don't think we need to do that. I'll have to check that out and see. I'm pretty sure like with my actions, you don't have to copy the content. I don't know if you're doing something special, but even then, even for the one where I write to the Firebase, Firestore database, I don't ask people to copy that in. They just send me the token or the key to their Firestore, and the action will then write to it. Let's have a look. It would be great to create an issue first and then go for a PR. The issue is valid. Yeah. I love other people kind of giving their thoughts. It's really interesting to hear other people's thoughts because you've all got different experiences, different backgrounds, and that all really adds value. And so what I think I know today might change later because I've had some awesome feedback from one of you. So do feel free to share with the community and with me. That's awesome. Everyone watching, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel, and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell button so you get notified. You know, the usual stuff. I should actually have a little video I can just play a flick of a button to do that. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. I still think, did I get an email? It said, oh, I did get an email, but it says your build failed. Let's have a look. Actions. Yeah, please can I get a badge? That failed. Unexpected inputs, logins, and queries. Yeah, I think you still got that issue that you raised on discussions. But everyone, let me share a link to this. I think it's a really interesting idea. So let me share a link to this, and people can give the project a star and follow, and maybe even contribute and get involved. But I do think that that step of copying it into their code base isn't required. They should be able to, because you've got a couple of YAML files. I think people should just be able to use your action without doing that. So I think my email is private. Oh, maybe that could be the case. I'm not sure. I'll have to check after and have a play. So this was fun. So who is going to submit an action before 12 p.m. PST tonight so that you can enter the hackathon, try and win? I think it's I don't know if it's first prize, but one of the prizes is like $1,500, which is pretty cool. Very generous by DevTo. Let's go back to here. I just want to show you, if I go to general, actually no, if I go to the bot channel, this is our Discord channel. Let me make it a bit bigger. Behind my head, it is behind my head. Let me don't make it full screen. Bring it over here. Make it wider. What I wanted to show you was time zones. So if we say, let's see if this will work. So if we call the bot and we say it was 12 p.m. and it was PST, let's see if our bot can figure it out. What is it for different time zones? Oh, has the bot gone to sleep again? I think it has. Was it 00 p.m. PST? Yeah, okay, that's a terrible example. I was going to show our Discord bot and yeah, the Discord bot. It worked earlier on. I can't remember which channel I used it in, but it did work earlier on somewhere. I can't remember where it is. Yeah, okay. Our bot needs some work. So if you want to contribute to open source projects, we have got a lot of Node and JavaScript projects that you can contribute to. Okay. Your project has got 2 more stars. That's awesome. So I also think do you say in the documentation that the email needs to be public? You received a personalized email, but you don't say that it needs to be public. So yeah, just, we'll work on that together and see. So if anyone wants to also join, can we test this out? Has a pull request been submitted? Not yet. Okay, no pull request yet. And if anyone wants to join our community organization, don't forget, raise an issue on support, and just raise an issue. And then you go to new, and then you just go to invitation to the organization, and just raise that, just hit submit. You don't have to write anything, it's fine. And we'll get you invited, and then you can join our GitHub organization of 123. Keep growing that number. So let me know in the chat how other things you would like to see. I'm really keen to see what other projects you'd like to see. I focus a lot on open source and GitHub. And GitHub Actions more recently. I'm loving GitHub Actions. So hopefully you're loving it too, and you're realizing that no matter how small your project is, GitHub Actions is really easy to set up. You don't even have to make a custom action. You can just use an existing action. Let me show you one more action that we have on our projects. Again, we didn't write this action. It should be called stale action. Hopefully it's on this project. Yeah. So if you've got a project, you create and you want to use an action, you create .github folder workflows, and then you create a file. In this case, we've called it stale.yaml. And this is all the action is. We haven't written it. We've just configuring it. So we want to say any issues or pull requests that are over 30 days old, put a comment in. And so this doesn't run on an event. It actually runs on a scheduler. And then we're using action stale, so it's an official action by GitHub, one of their actions. That doesn't make no sense, but you know what I mean. And then we have to pass in our repo token. Is that behind my head again? It is. No one told me. Let me just move this over here. Oh, don't do that. There we go. Is that better? That's much better. I need to sort out my big head. And then, yeah, you can put some messages of what goes in. And it's a really good way to clean up your backlogs. If issues have been around for like months and months, there's been no activity. And then when the stale bot puts a comment in and says this has been stale for over 30 days or 25 days, I think there's a 5-day by default warning, which you also can configure and pass in another option in. Then you can either put a comment and say, oh, I forgot about this. It's actually really useful. And stale bot will ignore it because it's about not when it was created, it's when it last had activity. And if you don't comment and you leave it, or you could close it yourself, but if you don't do anything with it in 5 days, then stale bot will close it. But don't worry, if you miss something because you're on holiday or you just gets lost in your email notifications, you can still reopen the issue, so it's not a problem. But I really like that. It keeps your kind of backlog for your project really clean. Done, raised an issue. Awesome. Noel, thank you very much. 1 star coming out, great effort. Mikey, love that support for community, brilliant. Great live, Eddie. We'll rewatch this. See you later. Have an awesome day, and let's catch up soon. Look forward to geeking out again. So this is how simple it is to use GitHub Action. And say, for example, your project, you don't have any automated tests yet because it's a prototype. You probably still have a linter. You probably still run like ESLint or an equivalent for your language. And just run that on CI, or just check that your code builds. Like if you have a build step, say you've got a TypeScript project and you're building to JavaScript, just check that it builds on CI. Will add so much value. Therefore, every time someone makes a change, it will build the code, and you can get notified if something's not right. And you can just keep adding to it, right? Don't forget your configuration is in your repo. So if you want to make any changes, you can just keep iterating on your GitHub Actions. Little and often is really important. Okay, everyone, this has been an awesome stream, but I think I'm getting too excited and I want to code and build lots of things. But do join our community on GitHub, on Discord, and on YouTube, and let's all geek out together. We're going to do more live streams with Hacktoberfest coming up, and I've got some awesome guests coming up who are going to do some demos for us on Nuxt.js, which is based on Vue, it's server-side rendering on Vue, and Svelte, I can't pronounce that one, that's a really hard word to pronounce. And there's something else, but I forget. We will definitely have lots of exciting things coming up. And I look forward to geeking out with you all soon. Hey Eddie, my fork is 7 commits behind the community. If your fork is behind the community, then you need to make sure your fork is kept up to date. And I actually have a video on this. This is a very common issue that happens to everybody. So what you need to do, don't delete your fork. What you need to do is I have a playlist here where it says, I don't know if you can see that, it's not behind my big head, it might be a bit small for you. And it says, keep your fork up to date. How to keep your fork in sync. I'm gonna share a link to this. It's a very short video. I think it is like a few minutes. Let's have a look. Yeah, 6 minutes. I'm gonna share a link to it, and it shows you with a few commands how you can keep your fork up to date. It's really nice. And there is actually someone has actually done a GitHub action to do that for you as well. I have seen. Let me paste that into the chat. So watch that video afterwards, and yes, any questions, let me know. Any questions? You know what? Raise a discussion. Let's have a look. And I will put some comments in this discussion as well. Oh yes, brilliant. So have you you've updated your discussion? Brilliant. See, that looks a little bit more enticing. If you can add a screenshot to that as well, Shubham, it will even look more impressive. So definitely do that. But anyone else, if you have any questions about keeping your fork up to date, Hacktoberfest coming up, the GitHub Actions hackathon at the moment, and we're not live, then raise it in discussions, because you will get a green square for today, as I've said before, and it won't get lost in the Discord history, and other people can chime in. It's more asynchronous, whereas with Discord, if someone's not busy, if someone's in a meeting or they're busy, they might miss it. And that goes for me as well. I have notifications set up on GitHub, on our GitHub community discussions, so that I can, after my meeting, I can then catch up and see what I've missed. Where if it happens in Discord and loads of chat goes on, I might miss it. So I highly recommend doing it in discussions. And also thinking about it, GitHub will index it, pick it up. It gets more visibility on your GitHub account, on your profile. So do chat in Discord, don't get me wrong, but try and capture a lot of it on GitHub. It is really important in the discussions. That's what the beauty of this is. Okay, created a PR for GitHub Actions. Awesome, love that. Mikey says, I have a document to help you fix that. Cool. A green square a day keeps Eddie away. Exactly. I think we should end on that note. Let me bring that up. And yes, a green square a day keeps Eddie away. Otherwise, I want to chase you. And Eddie bot, actually, if you add in our Discord, if you add the open source role to you, Discord bot at 2 p.m. UK time will ping you and say contribute to open source. So yes, definitely look into that. Check out the link and let me know if you find any steps confusing. Oh, what have I missed in the chat? Let's discuss after the stream. Yes, do join the conversation in between live streams and videos. And Mikey's always so helpful. Our community is also, I want to give a shout out to our community. So if you're not part of our community, do join. It is free. I'm not asking you to pay for anything. All I ask is that you help other people. And sometimes helping is just kind of what we call rubber ducking with them, is in just ask them questions. Well, you've got that error. Have you looked into it more? What have you found on Google? Just helping people along. And even after 15 years experience, I still rubber duck with a lot of people. And I like to, by the time I'm talking through my problem, I go, oh, that's the problem. And the other person was just listening. And I love it how our community really supports each other. A lot of our community do say, oh, I don't know that language, but maybe I can help. I can give a fresh pair of eyes, fresh perspective. And most of the time they do. So I really highly recommend not only joining our awesome community, but also getting involved in it. Not just getting those green squares, but helping other people. You will learn so many more things, even if it isn't your area of expertise or your language. And also, it will be good with networking. People will remember your name and so forth. So do get involved. Okay, awesome. Thank you everyone for the donations. Thank you very much. Spectra, sorry I couldn't bring up your donation on the screen, but I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I still don't know why they didn't come up. I'm kind of annoyed about that. But I can bring up this. There we go. Spectra gave me a donation, so thank you very much. I really appreciate that. If anyone does want to donate, I do have a sponsors page on GitHub. I always leave this right to the end because I don't want it to be a sales pitch. But I do have a sponsors button, and you can join some of my sponsors. And then we have a private channel on Discord, and we can chat a bit more. Anything I can help you with, let me know. Everyone, have a great day. I think I'm going to end it there. And it's been awesome geeking out with you. I'll see you very soon. I'm actually live streaming on Faraday Academy's YouTube channel tonight. We're talking about open source. So if you do want to join that, let's have a look. YouTube, Faraday Academy. I should have mentioned this earlier. So yes, that's me. You can see me. I'll make it a bit bigger. That is me. We're streaming in 3.5 hours from now. So do come and join us. Let me actually share a link in the chat and subscribe to Gwen's channel. It is awesome. She does a lot of view stuff as well. So yes, subscribe to our channel, give her video a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in 3.5 hours with her. Awesome. Everyone have an awesome day. Let's geek out soon. Remember, Hacktoberfest is coming up. Get the practice in now for the small pull requests. And it's a marathon, not a sprint. It will help you get the jobs and money that you deserve. People will discover you on GitHub, and people, when they look you up, they're like, wow, this person's really impressive. And it doesn't matter what you've been working on. It doesn't have to be the perfect code. It's important about having that activity and longevity and getting involved in the conversation. Okay, I've been talking way too much. I've been saying bye for like 5 minutes. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I really appreciate it. And I will catch up with you all very soon. Bye.